This is 7:30 Tea with Ree.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird-looking van.
Ree is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 7:30 Tea with Ree. How are you guys doing this week? For me, personally, it has been a really long week, I feel like, but also it's been like a really wild week. Like, I don't know, like the past week since the last episode, I don't know, like it's weird. I was feeling so low about like career stuff or whatever. Like I was over analyzing a lot and really wanting to like push myself harder and work 10 times harder and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a whole bunch of really good opportunities came my way all in one day. And you know what's even funnier about that? So I had no clue that Mercury was in retrograde. I had no idea. And if you don't know what like Mercury in retrograde is, it's basically like I guess like an astrology type of thing. And whenever Mercury's in retrograde, like some big life-changing things happen, like really drastic things where things shift into place like in a really crazy way. And that happened on April 2nd is when Mercury in retrograde started. And literally that same day, like I said, I had no idea it started. And that same day, a whole set of opportunities came my way. And now I'm like booked for certain things, to do certain things, and it's just kind of wild because I was like, what the heck? Because I was being so harsh on myself like the week before that, being like, okay, you gotta work 10 times harder here, you gotta like do more content, you gotta do better content, you gotta put yourself out there. Like I was really going in on myself, and I'm still like kind of being harsh on myself, you know, if I'm being honest and real with you guys. But it's just kind of crazy how like all of those opportunities just came up, and they're like really good opportunities. So I'll spill a little bit. So I'm gonna be doing like a grad shoot for someone. If you guys don't know, like I have always offered photo shoots from since I was 15. Like I do that on the side. I have my own website and everything, and yeah, so I still offer those. And so I'm going to be doing a grad shoot for someone. So, you know, it's extra money coming in, and it's also just, you know, part of, I guess, kind of what my career still is. Like, I don't know how to exactly define my career path right now, if I'm being honest. And that's okay. You know, that happens. I am in my 20s. I feel like that's normal for that to be the case sometimes. So, yeah, but, I always went for photography, so that's why I'm doing that. So I'm excited for that part to kind of come back into play, because I hadn't been doing photography in a bit. It varies. Like I will still offer it and I'll still do it, but I don't advertise it as much because I'm more focused on content creation in general, online, with social media and stuff. So I've been getting more into that aspect rather than just photography. So I've kind of been branching out a lot. I just wanted to try things out. And obviously I'm doing podcasting, so that's like a different part of me too that I'm branching out with, which an opportunity with that came in because my dad, the company that he manages and works for and stuff like that or whatever, they want to start working with celebrities a little bit. So my dad had asked me to send my information to see if he could send some of like my podcast links to some celebrities to see if they could maybe promote some of my stuff a little bit. So that was a cool opportunity. And then also my sister's an esthetician, so this is the other opportunity. My sister's an esthetician, and sometimes I do some of her content for her. Like I'll film some stuff with her and edit some of it and have her put it on her site. She's been editing a lot of stuff lately and doing all that herself as well, but you know, here and there, sometimes I might do it as well. So I was doing it the other day, for her because she had me be like a model for her to try this chemical peel on my skin. And she has an instructor when she's learning like a new type of peel and stuff like that. So when she was learning this new peel and demonstrating it on me, using me as her model and stuff like that, I was filming because I just wanted to do that for fun. Like, I was honestly just kind of vlogging for my TikTok and my Snapchat, that kind of stuff, just for fun. And the guy who was her instructor actually just so happened to really like the fact that I was doing that, and actually asked how often I do that and if I would like to film some of his work too. Now, he is working in Georgia, actually. He had flown down to Long Island to be my sister's instructor for the day, and he just so happened to actually really like how I was doing the content. So then he offered if he could fly me out to Georgia, and he would pay for the hotel, the flight, and everything, and the service, and basically have me just film his content for him, which I thought was super cool. And, you know, of course I would probably be going with someone because, like, you never know, like, you gotta be safe and stuff like that, especially if someone's, like, offering to, like, fly you out and, like, you go in a hotel and all that, like, of course, and especially as a young woman. So yeah, but still, I mean, I thought that was a really cool opportunity. So yeah, like, it's just wild. Like, all of those opportunities came out of nowhere when I was feeling so in my head and all over the place and kind of just like, I don't know, like I even, I purchased a vlogging camera because I want to start YouTube videos too. And I'm thinking I want to do it for you guys so that you guys could see me while I do these episodes, and I could film them that way while also posting them here and posting actual videos of me talking and everything on YouTube to you guys. So I was thinking of doing that, which I'm also anxious about because I'm so used to having like my tablet on me and looking at that, and you know, you guys don't have to see me like reading a script sometimes. And not all of these are scripted. Like, lately these have been going more offhand where I just will leave the stories and some notes rather than a full-blown script. But still, you know, I like to have it in front of me. And honestly, you know, when I do start filming those, for those first few episodes when I do it online on YouTube like that, I will probably keep my iPad in front of me with my notes because I'm going to be a little anxious. It's going to be definitely different. And it's so funny because I do like get ready with me videos on TikTok and I'll talk to the camera. And I do it completely normally, like, and I feel just fine. I don't get anxious or anything. But when it's like the podcast stuff, I feel like it's a way longer discussion and sometimes things are more serious. So doing that, like trying to make sure that your words are perfect and then also looking at the camera, it's gonna be so interesting. But I do want to try it, and I also want to do fun vlogs on YouTube as well. So I'm trying to get into that. I'm trying to do like baby steps. I feel like I keep thinking that I have to do like 20-minute videos, 12-minute videos like already. But some of them I could maybe start off with just like quick little 6-minute, 10-minute videos. So baby steps, you know? But yeah, that's soon to come. So I'm excited for that and anxious, but I'll be trying my hardest. But yeah, also, I gotta tell you guys something. So the craziest thing happened today as well, on top of all of this, on top of Mercury and retrograde and everything. By the way, if you guys hear like beeping in the background and stuff like that, it's we have an alarm system in our house, and with that alarm system, whenever any of us open the front doors or back doors or anything, it beeps to let us know when someone's like entering or exiting the house. So if you hear that, I'm sorry, but that is what it is. I honestly kind of miss when I used to just film these in the library for that exact reason. It's just so noisy in my house sometimes, which is also why I put this cozy music on in the back. But anyways, I got off topic, and I don't want to get off topic. I want to go back to what I was going to tell you guys. So the craziest thing did happen today, literally like a few hours ago. So earlier today, I went to the mall, and I was trying on bras. I was trying on bras because I really wanted a new bra, and I had been feeling so down about my body. I have just been wanting my boobs to look like more lifted. And if you're a guy listening to this, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if this is uncomfortable for you. I'm just being real, you know? I'm just being a woman for a second, okay? Basically, I just want my boobs to look like nice and lifted, and also like spaced apart, because I have really big boobs. Mine are, I thought they were a double D, but apparently I am a triple D, and I'm kind of really not used to that. I kind of honestly wish they were smaller. It's not that I hate them, I just am getting tired of them, because sometimes it feels like a lot to carry, you know? I feel like I can't really run or exercise. And, like, I'm not saying that I can't at all, but, like, I just, it's harder. Like, it sometimes hurts if I run because they're moving around, you know? They're like fun bags. But, if I have a sports bra on, of course, like, that obviously feels better. But sometimes it gets really frustrating having big boobs, and it hurts my back. And someone actually gave me a really good tip, because I really would love to get a breast reduction, honestly. And maybe some of you are kind of sitting there like, girl, what? Like, but like, honestly, I really would. I would like to have maybe a C cup or a D cup, honestly, just because I don't think I like having really big boobs. I don't think I do. If you are someone who has smaller boobs and you want bigger boobs, I'll tell you right now, you don't want the bigger boobs. I promise you, you should just love your small boobs. Honestly, they're probably beautiful and perky and cute. Okay, like, you should just love them. And you're probably sitting here on the other end like, no, you should love your big boobs. And I'm like, I do, but to an extent. They're just getting really, really tiring. So yeah. But anyways, point is, I was trying on these bras and I was feeling bad about myself. I was having like kind of a miserable time, you know, when you're just like feeling off and just in your head and you're like feeling just shitty. So I was going through that, and then on top of it, like, my mom wanted me to pick up Chinese food, and I also was in a rush to go to the gym too after. And long story short, I ended up not going to the gym because I was supposed to go with my sister and meet up with her there, but she ended up wanting to just stay home, so we canceled, and I was kind of upset because I really did want to go to the gym. And then I ended up getting the Chinese food for my mom or whatever, and I got like a big order. And so I'm in the mall and I get this order. I'm holding a huge bag of Chinese food. I'm holding my little bag that I got from Victoria's Secret, because instead of getting the bras from Victoria's Secret, I actually ended up getting perfume bottles because I really needed perfume. And so, yeah, I'm holding all of these bags. I'm holding my purse. I'm holding my water and everything. I'm holding all this shit, basically, right? And I'm walking to the car. And so as I'm walking to the car, I notice that by the entrance, this car pulls up and completely pulls over abruptly. And I'm wondering, like, wow, like, that was really abrupt. And I'm like slowing down my pace, because anytime I see something looks off, I'm just so observant, right? And so this car stops abruptly, and this couple, they're running outside of the car to the back of the car. And I'm wondering what the hell is going on. So I'm just slowing down my pace more, just like watching, right? And they rush to the back of the car, and they get this little boy out in the back, and he's crying, like screaming, crying, right? And he looks like he's like 2 years old. Like, he has a full head of hair, he has a little body, and he's just screaming, crying. And I'm wondering what the fuck is happening. And so the father picks him up, and this is a young couple. The father picks him up and is pressing down on his chest, pressing down, like trying to get something out. So he's choking, basically. This child is
completely choking. And I'm wondering, like, what the fuck is happening, you know? And the mother, she is panicking like crazy. She's crying and she's like trying to get help. So I've never dropped my stuff so fast. I immediately dropped all of my shit. And as soon as I go towards them, they're running towards me too. And they're like, help, help. But like in Spanish, kind of. Because they didn't really fully speak English. And so, the little boy all of a sudden starts gasping. And I'm freaking the fuck out. And so I know how to handle the choking stuff because when I was younger, I did this lifeguarding course, so I kind of remember some of the stuff, but I also remember some things that I had seen on TV shows of like how to do that or in YouTube videos. So like everything just came together. And so what I did is they fully like handed him over to me. And so I flipped him fully like towards basically so he's on his stomach, but in my hands, right? So I flip him over completely so that his head is facing near the ground. It's pointing that way. And I tip his body forward and I put both of my arms in front of his chest and I form my hands into like a fist over his chest and I push, push, push while flipping him forward so that his whole body is leaned towards the ground. And guess what comes out of him because he starts coughing up and he's coughing. A big quarter comes out of his mouth, like flies out, and he's okay. And he was crying more after that, but you know, he was okay. But it's just like, it had me so shaken up. It really did, and it still does, because like that the timing of that was crazy. It really was, because before that, when I was in the store, like all I could think to myself is like, oh my God, this line is so long. I'm so miserable. I can't wait to be home, blah, blah, blah. Like, why is this so long? And the thing is, if that line was not long, if all of that, like, did not happen the way that it did, I would not have been there to save that little boy's life. Like, it's just kind of crazy because of the timing. The way that happened, I could have got to my car sooner. I could have got to my car later. Like, the way it happened was really crazy, and I completely saved this little boy's life. And you know, I got to hug the mom after and everything. I felt so bad for her because she, like, to even imagine your child possibly, you know, it was just really crazy. And it just had me feeling so bad for them because the panic and fear in their eyes was insane because he really genuinely was gasping for air. And if I didn't do that, I don't really know what would have happened, honestly. So yeah, I just had to tell you guys that because I really just couldn't believe that. Like, that happened a few hours ago, and I'm genuinely still in shock. Like, I still can't believe that happened. But basically, I'm really glad that I was able to save his life, and I'm really just glad overall that I was the one to do it in right timing, you know? It's crazy. But anyways, I'm just really glad that he's alive and that he's okay and that everything's okay. So, yeah. Anyways, we're going to be getting into our story of the day. We're actually going to be doing one story today, because I got this really long story sent in. So, yeah, I figured we should make that, like, the whole episode, just because it's going to be a really long one, but it's really worth telling because it's kind of really fucking crazy. And I thought that you guys would get something from it, learn something from it, because it's kind of a really wild story. As you can literally tell by the title, her sister tried to kill her. Yeah. This is a really crazy story, but before we get into that story and the only story of the day, I am going to tell you what this podcast is about in case you're new here and confused, or maybe you've been here for a while and you're still confused. But yeah, I'm going to tell you what this podcast is about. So if you are new here, I'm very happy that you're here. This podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730tea with Ree, and you spell that 730 TEAWITHRIE, or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores, and you spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Your story should be up to 500 words or less, and if you want to send an audio voice message in instead of typing out your story, just please keep it up to 5 minutes max. Thank you. So now we are going to get into our first and only story of the day, and this is one that was actually written in from TikTok a while ago. I wanted to tell this story sooner, but at the same time I also had other stories that I felt like matched better in one episode, so this one I wanted to keep on its own because it was so long. And this one was also written in, so I will be reading it to you guys. So yeah, this story is called Her Sister Tried to Kill Her. So, I'm gonna read it. It says, when I was 22, I went out with my sister. She left her kids at my house with my boyfriend, my nephew 15, and my niece 8. We met up with some of my friends. To preface, my sister is 10 years older. We met some of my friends from high school out. Everything was good, but my sister always seemed to want to steal the shine or just try and make everyone like her more than me. She has to be better in every way. She always has been the pretty sister, quote unquote, and I the drama queen, quote unquote. We left at closing. I ask if she's good to drink because I've already had 3 mixed drinks, all doubles, and I know I'm not driving. She says she's good. She's my older sister, so I trust her to drive. I didn't count her drinks, but looking back, she was not good to drive. We're talking, vibing. She has this ex that she's been broken up with for like a year or 2. Every time we're together, she never has closure and talks about how much she loves him and how they are twin flames. This man is sexy as fuck, but he is evil as fuck to her face, in front of my boyfriend, and in front of me, and he told her to shut the fuck up. She even caught this man with another girl. Trash. I told her over and over, and advice, etc. I was short with her because I was finally overhearing about this person. I said, I don't want to hear about so-and-so anymore because he's not good for you. I was going to go on and tell her why. And while I was debating going on and on telling her why, I noticed that we are back on this neighborhood road that's kind of a long stretch till we reach my left turn. And then she decides to completely deck me in the face. I was completely taken aback, and I have glasses, mind you. My lip gloss goes flying, and my glasses goes flying, and she just starts beating me over and over. I'm telling her to stop while collecting all of my stuff and throwing it in my bag. All while this is happening, she is driving. I tell her to stop, and she does. I unbuckle and go to take a step out, and then she speeds off. I jump back in because I don't want to fall and get run over or hurt. She speeds up going like 60 or 70, I think. I don't know, it was fast. I'm scared because I don't have my seatbelt on anymore, and I'm yelling for her to stop and let me out. I'm bracing because I know she's going to slam the brakes. She does this a few times in a row. We get to my house and she's punching me, and my head hits the inside of the car window and it breaks. I get out of the car finally and I see the window and I say, "See what you did?" She proceeds to tell me I'm paying for it. Looks like she's coming after me, so I run through the mud in my favorite pair of heels that cost $100. I can't hide in my yard because I have a gate, so I hide in the side yard. She leaves me, bangs on the house door, and rings the bell over and over. Finally, my father-in-law answers the door at like 3 a.m. He's like, "What are you doing, and who is this crazy person?" Without saying anything, she shoved him aside and screams at the top of her lungs for her kids. All of them are peacefully sleeping. She wakes them up, doesn't even grab their stuff, and leaves with them. It was chilly, and they're in the car asking about the window, and mind you, she was drinking, and now she has kids in the car. She harassed me over the car window for a while, but I told her she could pay for my hospital bill. I never went to the doctor because I can't afford it. I have a deviated septum and broken veins on my nose and a broken vein on my left under eye. The veins never really cover, and there's no permanent solution to it. My sister and I have gotten in a total of 3 physical fights. That one was the last. A few years before this incident, even on my high school graduation, she told me that she wishes that I was never born and that I was dead. She said she wishes that she could kill me. My mom was standing there holding her back. I asked my mom to sleep with her that night and if we could lock the door. I chose to forgive her for that. But she proceeded to tell me that I'm a baby, and she kept mocking me. She does things to me ever since I was little, like, boo-hoo, poor you, what will you ever do, wah, and just pretends to throw a tantrum. Really weird to do to someone who is either crying tears of sadness or someone who just needs a friend. I don't know. I just don't think you should do that. It's gross. Well, all in all, she paid for the window. I still can't breathe. I forgave her, and then a few more years later, we seem really close, and bam, she accuses me of stealing and blows up on me. I break. I can't anymore. I just can't. I reached my snapping point. I'm not a punching bag, and I'm not going to let her speak to me a certain way. Clearly, she hasn't changed, and the memories of trauma come back. I can't be around this person. I cut her out, and I haven't spoken to her in almost 2 years. She told me I would never be successful and that I would fail in my career because she does the same thing. I have passion, I am driven, I'm successful, I'm smart, I am kind, I am bold, I am beautiful, I am everything that you're not. I am me. I have morals and I have values. It's my peace and I'm protecting it. I set her free. Damn, sorry, didn't expect this to be so long. That was like therapy, lol. Sorry for trauma dump. My dad and brother want me to be friends with my sister and for us to all get along and be a family. They kinda joke about it. I straight up told them this story and they still didn't take it seriously. I can't believe I chose to forgive her after trying to kill me. Like, what the fuck? This bitch is crazy. Whew. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I told you guys that was gonna be a long one. That was a really, really long one, but that was absolutely worth it because I felt like this person who sent in the story really needed to share that and get that off of their chest. And I also feel like this is a really important topic to discuss too with siblings because I feel like all of us in a way can kind of relate. Like, if you have a sibling, I feel like every one of you can relate in some type of way, not to maybe this extent, like maybe you might not have a relationship with your sibling that's this level of toxic, but I think we've all shared an experience where we've had like a toxic moment, or maybe you do have like an ongoing toxic relationship with your siblings or one of your siblings in particular, and maybe you don't talk about it enough, but this is so fucking absolutely toxic. I'm so glad that you cut her off after everything that you talked about is just really, it's unacceptable behavior. It's awful. I can't even believe that your dad and brother try to casually joke about that because that is genuinely like traumatic and scary. All of that. Every single bit of that. Especially, I mean, the beating you up while she's driving and she's not fully sober it's highly dangerous. It's highly dangerous to herself and you. And clearly she's not thinking of all of the repercussions, because the more than one person gets hurt in that scenario. If you are driving drunk and you also have your kids waiting at home for you, and you're also driving someone in the car while you're in that type of state and you're really not being careful. I mean, obviously don't be in the car to begin with, but like, my God, it's just insanity. Also, sorry if I'm like rambling a bit. I just am like, going through all of that. I'm just like, damn, where do you even start? I'm gonna try I'm like scrolling up on my iPad to find like the best part to kind of start out with. You mentioned in the beginning how she is just in general with you, with how she's always kind of putting you down, making you feel bad about yourself while building herself up. I think that's really just, that's not good. I feel like that tells me a lot. I feel like when people do that, trying to build themselves up while tearing you down, especially in front of other people, not only are they extremely insecure within themselves, but it also just means that they're just really jealous of you. Like, they have to be just really jealous of you, because if they're specifically targeting you to put down, either there's something that you have that they don't have and they want to make you feel bad about that, or it could honestly just be the simple case of they genuinely just want to make themselves feel better, and maybe they see a weak part of you where they're like, oh, she's like really easy to pick on, like, let me make her feel bad, like, let me make her feel worse. So yeah, it could be that, or it could just simply be that they're jealous of you, but I'm gonna go with the jealousy thing, only just because it's the fact that it's ongoing. And not only is it ongoing, it's a combination of like, she's trying to compare herself with you a lot, especially with even where you mentioned towards the end of the story how she told you that you would never be successful and that you guys went for the same career path and that she's doing well and this, that, like, the fact that she's bringing that up and thinking about it shows that she thinks about that often, you know? Because why else would she bring that up if it wasn't something that had been on her mind more than once to be thought about and analyzed in that way? You know what I mean? So I just think it's really wild that she spends her time thinking about that, and she is 10 years older than you. And I mean, I don't want to put age in there so much, because you could be 2 years older than your sibling and maybe have that drama, or maybe you could be 30 years older and have that drama. But I just think it's so ridiculous sometimes when there is such a big age gap and you're doing that, because it's just it's just ridiculous. For some reason or the other, I find that ridiculous. If anything, I think maybe you should somehow bond a little bit better rather than like acting like that. You know what I mean? Because when you have such a big age gap like that, there's really not as much that you have in common, because you're in two completely different stages in each other's lives. So why would you feel the need to want to compare yourselves when you are literally at two different stages? Does that make sense? I feel like I would get it more where you're doing constant comparisons when you're closer in age. Not saying that any of it's okay, but I find it kind of weird that she is significantly older and is acting like a child about this and constantly comparing herself to you who's 10 years younger. That's why I also think it's a jealousy thing too. It could be that she's jealous of your youth. It could be that. It could be that she sees that you have a lot of potential in you to succeed and do very well, and she is threatened by that. It could be a lot of things, but it just seems like she's very insecure and very jealous of you is what I'm getting from this. Even down to the part where she decided to start that argument with you on your graduation day, like the other argument with you, where your mom had to hold her back and saying like, oh, I wish you were dead and this, that. Like, I just think that's all very telling of how she feels when she's around you, like how she feels about herself. Because that's really all it is. That's what it comes down to. It's not just how she feels towards you, it's how she feels about herself when she is around you, because she is comparing herself and judging herself. And that has nothing to do with you and everything to do with herself. Now, going into the whole driving thing and her trying to beat you up, let's start from the root of it. So, that all started because you basically called her out on her shit with the whole boyfriend thing, ex-boyfriend thing. I feel like it's so easy for people to get offended when you actually tell them the truth about what you think about them and their ex, even when their ex has been like super toxic to them. There's so many people I've met who, even like if their ex has cheated on them and been like the worst asshole or has been like a narcissistic person and this, that, there's some people where it's like, even though they're aware that their ex could be a shitty person, they'll defend them. Like, till thy kingdom come, they will defend them. And it's kind of wild and it's kind of sad, but all of that really truly stems from insecurity. If you see someone who's been hurt by someone and they're defending the person who hurt them and like hurt them bad, if you see them defending that person, that means they really and truly believe deep down that they deserve that hurt. And maybe that might be a stretch, but I don't think so. I really think that if someone is defending a person who hurt them really terribly bad, if they're defending them and trying to hype them up into something that's great, I feel like that's a reflection on how they feel about themselves, and that stems from deep-rooted insecurity. And so the fact that she got so defensive is, I think it really just has to do with insecurity and the fact that you were right and she didn't want to believe that, because she didn't want to sit with her actual feelings, with how she actually feels about herself. And so that's why she started beating you like that. It had nothing to do with you and every single thing to do with herself. But I just am sorry that you had to deal with that you had to take her beatings because she didn't know how to heal herself. And it sounds like she still doesn't really know how to heal herself. I would hope that she eventually learns, but it takes a long time to change, because the thing is, in order for someone to change and actually become a better person, they have to want to. It doesn't sound like she wants to right now. And honestly, it's not your problem. It's not your problem at all. And it's a good thing that you let her go, and it's a good thing that you guys haven't talked in 2 years. And maybe that might sound controversial, because maybe there's some of you that are listening like, oh my god, like, how can you just like not talk to your sibling? But like, come on. After all of that, beating her up while driving drunk, and then continually trying to beat her again after and breaking her nose, basically, like, I would not want to talk to my sibling after that either. I don't blame you at all. I don't think you're wrong for it. I don't think it's anything to do with you. It is everything to do with herself. And I don't think that anybody should try to make you feel guilty about that and feel like it's something to just brush off. I don't think it's something to brush off at all. I think it's something that you're valid for feeling that way about. And, you know, like I said again, I am sorry that you had to deal with that, because it's really unfair to you that she took out how she was feeling about herself and projected that onto you. So, yeah. Anyways, I do think that you handled it very well by keeping her out. I would hope that she eventually changes or wants to change and maybe goes to a therapist. But as for now, I think you should just keep it the way it is where you just focus on yourself for as long as you can. And, maybe later in the future you guys have a cordial relationship or something like that. But just because it's your family, like blood related, does not mean that you always have to keep a relationship with them. That's just it. You don't have to. You're not forced to. Nobody's forcing you to. You do not have to do that. If you are not comfortable with it, and if it's no longer serving you, you do not have to do that. You don't owe anybody anything if you are feeling uncomfortable or if it's sacrificing your mental health. So good for you, honestly. And I'm proud of you because that's something that's really, really hard to do. So, yeah. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing your story, because that is something traumatic to share and a lot to talk about. So thank you so much. And I'm also glad that it felt like therapy for you, because, at the end when you were saying that it felt good to talk about. So I'm really glad that you felt like you were able to kind of release something off of your chest. So thank you, and thank you so much for sharing it. So yeah. Anyways, we are going to be closing out this episode now, and we're going to be closing it out with our sound healing. I think a sound healing is definitely necessary after this topic. So yeah, let's clear up all that negative energy we just let out with our sound healing. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes, take a deep breath in from your nose and out from your mouth. And I'm going to play. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining my episode today. It always means the absolute most to me, and if you were new here and you made it through this whole thing, thank you so much for being here and for listening. It really genuinely means the most to me. And go like, subscribe, follow everything, follow my socials, click on the links in my little descriptions, and take a look at everything and check me out. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I hope to have you back. And for all of you that are regulars that come here, thank you again. And yeah, I literally adore you guys. So I hope you guys all have the best this week ever, and I love you all so much. Goodbye.